How's it doing? So I mentioned in the last video, I just wanted to probably make an own video, and my own video is explaining this subject alone. And it's about Fine Gael. Fine Gael, and a lot of people probably don't know this, but when I was growing up, we went calving. It was called the Farmers' Party, and that's the reason why it was called the Farmers' Party, because the majority of farmers in Calvin and Monaghan voted Fine Gael, and the majority of Fine Gael senators and majority of Fine Gael TDs in Calvin and Monaghan had farmers, were farmers, in other words. And over the last 2 years, if you haven't seen, in this country they have done a big U-turn. The Fine Gael crowds have done a big U-turn on the farmers. They've absolutely just betrayed the farmers, and have just absolutely destroyed them. That's just put it straight. Leo and his cronies, and then destroyed the farmers. They really, really did destroy the farmers. I know farmers that were old farmers, and some of them 50 years, and every back years ago the way it was, we always stick with one party, never voted for any other party. Say it was Fine Gael, you always stuck with Fine Gael. And the last election they changed their mind and voted Sinn Féin. Which is why Pauline Tully and Matt Carty got the biggest votes in Cavan, because the majority of the farmers in Cavan and Monaghan didn't want to hate to do with Fine Gael anymore, because they were just sick. Because they were sick, like in Ballygym stuff, the beef flat in Ballygym stuff. I don't even have to talk about the beef, what they done with the beef and everything like that. I don't even want to talk about it, because they just destroyed it. Like literally they whether they would have hatched and just absolutely hatched everything down. They just destroyed everything. And then with the floods and everything, they just destroyed it. Like honest to God, you couldn't make this up how bad they treat people in this country. And then when the big international corporation, Jimmy and Johnny, who owns fucking Microsoft, comes along, oh, my premises were flooded. I wanted the Irish taxpayer to pay for it. No bother. Leo will be like, no bother. We take 60 billion out of our treasury and we pay straight away for your damaged property, even though you just make 50 billion times more money than us. We're going to pay for it. And then there's a man down the road who's an honest farmer who has a farming land. He tries to keep his family going, keep himself going. He's struggling to pay the bills. His land gets flooded. The guy goes to the local authorities to say to fuck off, and they're too busy worrying about fucking Timmy and Johnny up in Microsoft. Because this is the country we live in. This is the country we live in. And again, the same what I'm saying, they care more for the rich and the big international corporations and what other countries think of us compared to what they care about their own people. They couldn't care less what their own people thought. They made it, I'm sure many farmers would agree with me, they made a fucking mess. The government made a mess, especially with buying cattle and everything like that. They made a mess. The price, they fucked up everything. They completely just fucked up everything. As they usually do in this country, because the only thing they can seem to do in this country is make everything fucking 10 times worse. And forgive me for my language, but my God, you just have to look, they have done not really anything worth a damn, the government. They've made everything 50 times million worse. It's just the country we live in. They just don't seem to think, and they don't seem to care that actions have consequences. And this government and the last government didn't care. They didn't care. Couldn't care less. Didn't care less when the flooding happened. They didn't care. They weren't too bothered. When they went up with the tractors to Dublin, the only time they cared was when they went up to Dublin and blocked the whole streets in Dublin, and traffic blocked the whole city, because that affected them. That affected the rich establishment, the embassies, the big international corporations trying to go to work and try to do their business, and they were affecting the CEOs and everything. Oh God, how would we survive this country if we didn't have the bloody NGOs and everything? But yeah, it was affecting the rich, and they didn't want that. They didn't want tractors blocking up Dublin, affecting Microsoft, and affecting all them big international corporations, affecting their trade, affecting their import and everything and their money, which they don't have to pay to their state. But yeah. Yeah, that's about to sum it up, because they just don't care. They just don't care unless you do. I can't tell you how long they're blocking meat factories around the country. And they wouldn't bother. The government really wouldn't bother to do anything about it. They were more or less And then, lo and behold, yes, I remember this now. There was a beef factory down the country, and I remember there was Chinese. They said Chinese plant in China was looking for some steak and whatever. Steak, you get it. I'm only joking. But yeah, the Chinese crowd went in, and the guards and the government, and basically the state was like to the protesters, "Feck off, go away. These people who are slaving people in China, we care more about them than we do about our own people. So go down the road, go away, we don't want to see you. Don't embarrass Ireland in front of China. China is a great pal of Ireland. So says Leo. Thank you, Leo. You're a great man, Leo. We should elect you again. If we do, we'd be right in the head if we do. Because we have me whole man in this great fella. You have to just laugh. Yeah, you honestly just you couldn't do anything else but laugh at these stupid clowns we have in this government, because you couldn't you can't cry with them, because you can't cry because you'd be crying with laughter, because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid, but you just have to cry and laugh because these are the biggest fucking at the ball. Like, no, Korea at least has a better society than this state of government here we have. Because this government seems to just care for what the rich take, and they don't care about the only people of Ireland. It's just classic Ireland.